Baku. All right, viewers, those are the headlines and our top focus. US President Donald Trump has praised what he calls irreplaceable and an unbreakable bond between the United States and the United Kingdom. This praise has taken place during his second historic state visit to the UK. Now, speaking at a lavish banquet at Windsor Castle, Trump has said the following.
The bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable, and we are, as a country, as you know, doing unbelievably well. We had a very sick country 1 year ago, and today, I believe we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. In fact, nobody's even questioning it, but we owe so much of that to you and the footing that you gave us when we started. Together, we've done more good for humanity than any two countries in all of history.
Meanwhile, King Charles in his speech echoed this sentiment. Listen in.
This unique and important occasion reflects the enduring bond between our two great nations, anchored by the deep friendship between our people. This relationship, which, with good reason, we and our predecessors have long called special, has made us safer and stronger through the generations.
Amid royal pageantry, Trump and Melania were treated to a grand military welcome, a carriage procession and visits to significant royal sites. Now, this high-profile visit also saw a focus on trade and geopolitics, with discussions on investment, Ukraine and global security set to continue with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. With us on the broadcast is Ms. Irina Zuckerman, senior journalist, joining us from New York. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. Donald Trump's historic second state visit to the United Kingdom. Last time he went there, he was hosted by Queen Elizabeth II. Now he's being hosted by King Charles III. He is, of course, stressed upon the bonhomie between the UK and the US as well. Meanwhile, talks all set to be held with Keir Starmer. Trade is in focus. Geopolitics, particularly the Ukraine situation, is also in focus. What are your expectations from the meeting that is slated to take place?
Thank you so much. Of course, the visit so far has been very important. The meeting with the king was rare, as Donald Trump has mentioned before, but the economic and security deliverables and discussions have been and continue to be no less important. That has so far included an £100 billion inward investment tally linked to the visit, including data center discussions, logistics, life sciences, and advanced manufacturing projects. There's a discussion of a tech prosperity deal, which is essentially a bundle of private sector commitments in AI, cloud, quantum, and civil nuclear energy, which is headlined by Microsoft's £22 billion UK build-out, including an AI supercomputer, NVIDIA's large GPU deployment, and Google's commitment to investing into the data center. These are important for the UK in terms of jobs and growth optics, but also equally important for the United States in terms of its strengthening of relations with the UK. So the reason for this heavy emphasis throughout the talks on the tech sector is that it represents a growth strategy that would differentiate UK from EU-style digital regulation, and while courting US firms. At the same time, it allows Trump to showcase American corporate muscle abroad without essentially touching on a potential controversy about a full trade deal. It helps lock the UK deeper into a US-centric compute, cloud, and AI supply chains, including with implications for energy demand, such as the data center, power planning policy, and digital sovereignty, all key themes for both countries. So far, there is and will continue to be a heavy emphasis on the special relationship. There's also a lot of concern about support for Ukraine, continuity on AUKUS, which has been in the headlines recently with Australia announcing an $8 billion commitment and allowing US to access its facilities related to the storage of equipment. And the message has been the key theme that we are seeing is steadiness, not novelty. London is trying to reassure allies and investors while avoiding clashes over areas of divergence such as tariffs, green policy, and migration, which has caused controversy with other Trump officials in recent past. We are also seeing, and we will continue to see for the remainder of the visits, heavy emphasis on optics management. There are protests and culture wars messaging going on the outside the main theater of events, but overall the staging, the largest ceremonial welcome in years, uh, appearance of multiple tech CEOs at the banquet is keeping the media focused on the economic storylines. For Trump, this visit is reinforcing the idea of respect abroad. For Starmer, it softens the domestic critique that he's hosting a polarizing U.S. president by showing concrete investment wins. Now, what is real in all these meetings versus what is rhetorical and symbolic commitments? So many of the pledges we are seeing are multi-year. They will depend on planning approvals, on grid connections, and on macro conditions. Still, there is a lot of push to advance the UK as US tech hub thesis, meaning the compute capacity, AI, R&D, semiconductor adjacent infrastructure, all key to US interests, and quietly reaffirms defense cooperation, even though the comprehensive tariff cutting trade deal that the UK is anxious about remains elusive. The bottom line to all of this is that UK is banking on major commitments and wants to develop a brand as America's preferred AI outpost in Europe. And there is an effort to keep the relationship warm, pro-Ukraine and AUKUS affirming without getting too much into the thorns of divisive issues. We will see a lot of in the last day of the visit working group meetings, site selections, grid capacity discussions, stills pipelines discussions how to make sure that there are enough people who actually can undertake all these commitments, and of course the discussion of joint research ties and the running argument in London about data center sprawl versus growth. So all of these technical issues will be left for the last day of the visit.
All right, ma'am, I request you to stay on with us as we're tracking further developments